In this video, we're going to specifically go over the graphs and the transformations that are on the Chapter 6b review. So the very first question is asking you to find the asymptote, domain, and range for the function, and then also select the graph that matches. So your asymptote for logarithmic functions, and this is a great thing to put in your note card, the asymptote is determined by the horizontal movement, the side-to-side movement, left or right. And the left or right movement is whatever happens with the x. So that plus 1 is going to mean left 1. So instead of the asymptote being right here on the y-axis, it's going to move left 1 unit. And this graph is going to come close to touching that asymptote that is left 1 from the y-axis. So honestly, you could go right down to the graphs right now. This one has an asymptote at 2. This one has an asymptote at positive 1. This one has an asymptote at negative 1. And this one has an asymptote at positive 1. So obviously, we'll call this one A. A and C and D, those are the ones that you're picking between. This one that has 2, that's the one graph that's not like the others, so it's definitely not the right. That one is trying to make you think that this 2 has something to do with it. But that 2 means up to, not left or right 2. So asymptote of left 1, that's going to be graph C. Our asymptote is x equals negative 1. Our domain will be x. X is greater than negative 1. And our range is all real numbers. And on the test, I will make sure that that's a drag and drop. So there will be like options like x equals negative 1, x equals positive 1, x equals 2, x is greater than negative 1, x is less than negative 1, x is greater than 2, x is less than 2, all real numbers. And you will have to find the correct one and drag it in, find the correct one and drag it in, and then find the correct one and drag it in. Part B will just be clicking whichever one is correct. All right, I believe that rewriting is in another video, evaluating is in another video, inverses are in another video. So now let's look at the transformations. This is where, if you're looking at your note card, you need to remember that the generic one is log, well, there's potentially an A in front, log base something, doesn't even matter what it is, of x minus h plus k. The minus h is the left or right. It's plus when it's left. It's minus when it's right. The side to side is backwards. The plus k is up or down. Plus is up. Minus is down. And the A in front is going to be for a stretch or a shrink. The stretch is when that number is bigger than 1. The shrink is when that number is less than 1. So in G, 1/3, that's going to be either a stretch or a shrink. So if you are a color person, this part of the video is totally for you. Then the stuff inside the parentheses is going to be the left or right. Ignore my really messy coloring right now. And then anything that happens after the parentheses, that's going to be your up or down. So let me color that in blue. So in example G, the 1/3. 1/3 is smaller than 1, so that is a shrink. You can put an X or a check mark or whatever. On Ed side, it will be a checkbox, so you'll click vertical shrink. The plus 5, that's left or right, and it's backwards. That means right. That means minus. Plus 5 means left. I don't know what is going on in my brain right now, so that's a translation 5 units left. And then this one doesn't have anything after, so there's nothing there. So you would just not click anything, and that's fine. In the next one, 4 is bigger than 1, so that is a vertical stretch. There's nothing after the x inside, kind of like there was nothing over here. So for the green, you're just not going to put anything. For the blue, -7 means down 7, so translation down. So you'd click 2 things per line for those 2. I believe there's already a video about expand and condense. There might be extra problems on the video than there are in your review. And there's a whole video about solving and checking for extraneous solutions. So that is it for the graphing and transformations portion of this test review.